During the evening of March the 10th, 1972, an explosion occurred on the premises of International Worldwide Spectrum Limited, demolishing 3 outer offices and seriously damaging a printing press. After intensive inquiries, the police arrested Trevor Luckhurst, a 27-year-old freelance journalist, and Jill Sawyer, aged 20, a university undergraduate. They have been charged firstly with conspiracy to cause explosions with persons unknown, and secondly, they have been charged with causing an explosion. The case is being heard before Mr. Justice Waddington, sitting in Fulchester Crown Court. The jury has been sworn in and are assembled after 4 jurors have been rejected by counsel for the defence, Mr. James Elliott, QC.
Members of the jury, Trevor John Luckhurst and Jill Alexandra Sawyer are charged with the following offences. First, conspiracy to cause explosions in that between January the 2nd and March the 10th, 1972, they conspired together and with persons unknown to unlawfully cause an explosion at the premises of International Worldwide Spectrum Limited, of a nature likely to endanger life or to cause serious injury to property. Secondly, they are charged with causing an explosion, contrary to Section 2 of the Explosive Substances Act of 1883, in that on the 10th day of March 1972, they did unlawfully and maliciously cause by gunpowder or other explosive substances an explosion at the premises of International Worldwide Spectrum Limited, of a nature likely to endanger life or to cause serious injury to property. To the charge of conspiring together and with persons unknown to cause an explosion, they both plead not guilty. To the charge of causing an explosion, they also plead not guilty. It is your charge to say, having heard the evidence, whether they are guilty or not.
May it please your lordship, members of the jury, I appear in this case for the prosecution, with the assistance of my learned friend, Mr. Lotterby. Learned friends, Mr. Elliott and Miss Tate, appear on behalf of the defendants.
Mr. Fry, before we start, I would like, if I may, to make one point.
Yes, of course, my lord.
I am aware, looking at the press boxes and the public gallery, that there is a great deal of interest being shown in the case which is about to be heard in this court. I will say at once that I will not tolerate any interruption to the proceedings which might emanate from that interest. If there is any such unseemly behavior, I shall have no hesitation in clearing the court of all save the participants. Yes, Mr. Fry, will you please continue?
Thank you, my lord. Members of the jury, you have heard the formal charges lodged against the 2 accused, Luckhurst and Miss Sawyer. Now, these charges relate to an evening last March, the evening of the 10th, when shortly after 7 p.m., an explosion occurred at the premises of International Worldwide Spectrum Limited, IWS for short, which ripped out the wall of an office block and partly destroyed the printing department. Now, you will hear evidence from the night watchman, who was present in the building when this huge blast occurred. You will also hear evidence from a forensic expert. He will confirm that the explosion was caused by a specially constructed bomb, deliberately placed in the building for the purpose of blowing it up. You will also hear eyewitness evidence from the night watchman concerning the identification of the 2 persons you see in the dock, and you will hear evidence from the police describing articles found in their possession which made it possible for them to be charged with the offences you have heard described. And now, with your lordship's permission and with the assistance of a learned friend, I will seek to bring the evidence for the prosecution. Call Arthur William Bell.
Arthur William Bell.
What is your religion?
Wesleyan.
Will you take the book in your right hand and read the oath, please?
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence that I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you. Your name is Arthur William Bell.
Yes, sir.
And you live at 33 Jarrow Street, Fulchester.
Yes?
What is your occupation, Mr. Bell?
Night watchman at IWS, sir.
Thank you. Now, would you think back to the night of March the 10th this year?
Yes?
At what time did you take up your night watchman's duties on that day?
6 o'clock, sir.
Are you sure of the time?
Yes.
It was 8 months ago.
I always come on at 6.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Now, would you describe in your own words the events that occurred on that evening?
Well, I was just having, well, I've just been brewing up a cup of tea.
Mr. Bell, would you mind speaking up a little? Some of the jury are finding difficulty in hearing your words.
You had just finished brewing up a cup of tea at about 7 p.m. and...
there was this bang, sir. Terrific bang. Seemed like it was just next door.
And what did you do?
I dropped to the floor.
And were you struck by anything?
Oh, no, sir. I was, well, to be honest, I was scared stiff, sir.
A perfectly natural reaction.
Yeah, it was like it was in the war. When you heard a bomb go up, you just hit the deck.
Yes, well, please go on, Mr. Bell. What did you do then?
Well, there was quite a lot of plaster come down from the roof and the whole place shook. I waited a few seconds and I ran out to see what it was.
And what did you find?
I ran into the yard. There was a lot of smoke about and dust. I remember thinking there was a lot of dust.
This is at the back of the building, is it not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please go on.
Well, first thing I saw was a huge great hole in West Wing.
Well, I should like at this point, my lord, to pass round copies of the ground plan of the building. Exhibit 1, lord. As you see, members of the jury, the building complex of IWS is quite large. The 4 main blocks are known as East, West, North, and South. Yes, Mr. Bell, please go on.
Well, from what I could see, 2, 3 offices had gone for a Burton and so had the printing press.
Gone for a Burton.
That is what the witness said, my lord.
Might one freely translate that as meaning had been destroyed?
Yes, smashed to smithereens.
Now, after quickly glancing at the damage, what did you do?
Well, I couldn't think what had happened at first. I thought it was a gas leak, something like that. There was all this glass all over the place. I thought a gas pipe had gone up.
And did anything occur to make you change your mind?
Yes, sir.
And what was that?
I heard footsteps, sir. There was crunching over the broken glass at the far end of the yard.
Now, to your knowledge, Mr. Bell, was there anybody else with a legitimate reason, besides yourself, for being in the building at that time?
Not in that part, no. No, the other blokes were on the main gates. That was on the other side, round at the front.
Now, you heard footsteps in the yard.
There was 2 of them.
What were they doing?
They were running.
In which direction?
Towards the back wall, sir.
Yes. And did you see them?
Yes, sir. There was a man and a woman.
Are you sure of that?
I'm sure as anything I saw them shin over the wall. The bloke jumped up first, then he reached down and helped the girl over.
Well, did you say anything?
Well, I mean, I'm still a bit dazed, you know what I mean?
Well, yes, of course, but did you call out to them?
Yes. I said, hey, you stop.
And what did they do?
Well, they just carried on running. They climbed over the wall and disappeared.
Mr. Bell, would you recognize these 2 people if you saw them again?
Oh, yes, sir.
Now, this is most important. Do you have any doubt at all, as to their identity?
No, none.
Can you see them in court today?
Yes, sir.
Would you point to them?
It's not true, you lying old get. He's lying.
Mr. Elliot, I will not tolerate that kind of behavior in my court.
I apologize on behalf of my client, my lord.
I would have thought you had had time to instruct the defendant that outbursts of that kind can do no good to his case whatsoever.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. Please remain there, Mr. Bell.
How long have you been a night watchman, Mr. Bell?
5 years, sir.
And what were you before that?
A joiner.
Why did you switch jobs?
It was when I retired.
I see. You retired at what, 60?
Yes, sir.
Well, I can understand your being scared stiff when the explosion occurred. Everything dead quiet, then a bang as loud as that coming from almost next door. I'm looking at the ground plan, and I can see your tea room, which is marked. Now, you say you hit the deck, waited a few moments, and then you rushed outside.
Yes, sir.
You rushed outside.
Lord, my friend is offering his own words to the witness and then implying the other witness's own.
I ran into the yard, I'm sorry. You ran outside.
Yes, sir.
I take it you were wearing the glasses you have on at present?
Well, yes.
Forgive me, Mr. Bell. I just want to get the picture clear in my mind. Now, you say you hit the deck, waited, and then you ran outside.
I wanted to see what was going on.
Were you wearing those glasses? Mr. Bell, I've noticed you have to keep pushing them back on your nose. They don't seem to fit very well.
Oh, the spring is loose.
I'm just wondering if they might have fallen off when you dropped to the floor, and that in your hurry to run out and see what had caused the explosion, you might have left them behind.
I don't remember.
You see, Mr. Bell, at 7 o'clock on March the 10th last, it was quite dark. At 6:30, the overhead lights to the building are turned off, leaving only a few scattered night lamps burning. Now, that's right, isn't it?
I saw them two in the yard.
How far were you from them?
20 yards, maybe less.
20 yards. Did you hear them speak?
No, sir.
Yet you seem so positive one was a man and the other a woman.
I may be 65, but I can still tell the difference.
Well, I'm not quite 65, Mr. Bell, but I confess sometimes I find it hard to tell the difference, especially on a dark night. Even more especially if I saw two people shin up and disappear over a wall in a few seconds, and if, to add to everything, I were not wearing my spectacles.
The witness said he could not recall if you were wearing them, my lord.
I did say if, my lord.
It was them, all right.
Mr. Bell, thinking back a month before the explosion, were you not involved in a student demonstration outside the offices of IWS?
Well, not involved, really. I wouldn't say that.
I didn't catch that, nor I think did the members of the jury.
I believe the reply was not really, my lord.
Would you be a little more specific?
Well, there was a crowd of long-haired yobbos running, yelling and ranting, yes. I just told them to clear off.
Oh, you did say a little more than that, didn't you, Mr. Bell?
I can't remember.
Well, didn't you say something like, if I had my way, you bloody nits would be put away and left to rot?
My lord, really?
My lord, the defendant has made no secret of the fact that for some time he and his friends have picketed the headquarters of IWS because of their disapproval of a periodical published by that organization. They consider it to be reactionary and an inflammatory magazine. Now, both defendants have in the past taken part in peaceful demonstrations against that organization. What they deny most strongly is that they were party to an act of violence against the company, or were present when such an act took place. Mr. Bell, did you say something like that?
You give them freedom, all they want to do is to overthrow the country. It's diabolical. They get away with murder these days.
I put it to you, Mr. Bell, that most certainly you saw someone or some persons running from the scene of the explosion, but you can't be sure it was Mr. Luckhurst and Miss Sawyer. All you are sure of is that because of a personal antagonism towards them and people like them, you would like to see them punished for it. Now, that's right, isn't it?
It was them. I'm not lying, it was. Well, what about the police? Look what they found.
That will do. You will ignore that last remark. Please confine yourself to the questions that are put to you.
Thank you, Mr. Bell.
And my lord, unless you have any questions. Thank you, Mr. Bell. That will be all. I should like to call Dr. John Gold.
Dr. John Gold.
Anglican.
Right. Will you take the book and swear the oath, please?
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Doctor, would you state your name and qualifications, please?
John Raymond Gold, Doctor in Forensic Medicine attached to the Home Office. I hold a PhD from the Oxford University, and during the past 5 years I made a special study of explosive devices and have also closely examined the refractive qualities of glass.
Doctor, would you tell the court the results of your investigation into the explosion at IWS on March the 10th last?
In accordance with my duties, I examined the premises of IWS, which had suffered from an explosion.
And what did you find?
The remnants of a homemade bomb, which worked on a time control mechanism. The pieces were found embedded in the outer wall of the west wing of the building. The manner in which they were found is consistent with the theory that they were part of an explosive device strategically placed in the most vulnerable section of the office wall with the purpose of blowing it up.
Doctor, would you now look at those pieces marked Exhibit 2?
These are the remains I found, yes.
Can you identify the original use to which some of these metal pieces were put?
Yes, they are pieces of a cheap alarm clock. They've been adapted to form the timing mechanism which delays the action of the detonator.
Now, would you look at the pair of rubber plimsolls marked Exhibit 3? Are these the plimsolls you subsequently examined on behalf of the police?
Yes.
Would you tell the court of your findings?
I discovered several splinters of glass embedded in the soles and heels of both shoes.
Dr. Gold, did you take glass fragments from the shattered window of IWS?
Yes.
Will you look at the bag marked Exhibit 4 and tell the court whether it contains those fragments?
It does, yes.
Have you examined the fragments?
I have.
And what were your conclusions?
The splinters of glass taken from the plimsolls comes from the same batch as the glass from the windows.
Members of the jury, you will hear evidence that these plimsolls were found by the police officers on the premises where the occupants were arrested by the police. Dr. Gold, thank you. Would you remain there?
Are those plimsolls marked with the name of the owner, Dr. Gold?
No.
Now, when you say that the glass particles found in them are part of the same batch as the glass in the IWS window, does that mean that they have to come from there?
Well, no, not have to.
Does glass carry a unique quality, like perhaps a fingerprint, making it unarguable that one piece belongs to the next?
There are certain characteristics of glass which make it possible to assert that two separate pieces were part of one whole, yes.
Possible, but not conclusive.
Not conclusive.
Now, the parts of the bomb you mentioned came from a cheap alarm clock.
Yes.
I take it cheap means the type of alarm clock that can be bought anywhere?
Yes.
By anyone?
Yes.
Now, with this type of bomb, that is the one based on the mechanism of an alarm clock, what is the maximum delay to the detonator that can be made?
12 hours.
And yet we heard from the night watchman on duty that he saw two people running from the scene of the explosion only seconds after it occurred. Now, is that not strange? That if, for example, these two persons had been responsible for placing the bomb, that it should go off within minutes while they were still on the site? Thank you, Dr. Gold.
Doctor, can you give us any reason why the detonator might have gone off at the end of a period shorter than 12 hours?
It might have been set intentionally or by mistake for a shorter time, a minute, 5 minutes, an hour. Another explanation is that it may have malfunctioned.
By malfunction, you mean that it may have gone off before it was meant to?
Yes. It is my experience that bombs are just as likely to kill those who make them as those against whom they are directed.
Thank you, Doctor.
Just one question, Doctor. You stated earlier on that the bomb was strategically placed in the most vulnerable part of the office wall.
Yes, my lord.
Would that suggest that those who placed it there were not as amateur as one might suppose?
My lord, a person of above average intelligence would not find it hard to work out where the main supports of the building were situated and put the bomb there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Call Detective Inspector Roberts.
Detective Inspector Roberts.
I swear by Almighty God, the evidence I shall give to this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Detective Inspector Philip Roberts, CID, attached to Q Division, Fulchester.
Inspector, would you describe the circumstances leading up to your arrest of the accused?
Yes, sir. As a result of police inquiries on March the 14th this year, I applied for and received a search warrant to investigate premises situated at 68 Brownlow Gardens, Fulchester. Accompanied by Detective Sergeant Smithson, I proceeded to the said premises where we found Trevor Luckhurst and Jill Sawyer. After showing them the signed search warrant, Sergeant Smithson and I made a thorough search of the house.
And what did you find?
In one bedroom, we found pieces from 2 alarm clocks. In another, a pair of plimsolls, later examined by forensics and found to contain particles of glass, consistent with that found in the IWS building in the wrecked area. We also found a series of letters written by Luckhurst and Sawyer to each other. On examination, these letters were found to contain several references to International Worldwide Spectrum Organization, and in 2 of them, recommendations to break into the building. These items were collected and entered as evidence.
The case of the Queen versus Luckhurst and Sawyer continues tomorrow in the Crown Court. In Fulchester Crown Court, the trial is taking place of Trevor Luckhurst and Jill Sawyer. The 2 defendants are accused of conspiracy with persons unknown to cause an explosion at the premises of International Worldwide Spectrum Limited. They are also accused of causing the explosion, which ripped open 3 offices and damaged a printing press belonging to the firm. It's the second day of the trial, and evidence has been heard from the night watchman who picked them out of an identification parade after seeing them run from the building shortly after the explosion took place. A forensics expert has already stated that the bomb was a homemade contraption constructed from pieces of an alarm clock, and Detective Inspector Roberts, who arrested the accused, has told the court of finding a pair of plimsolls in Luckhurst's possession which contained particles of glass from the wrecked office windows. Also found at the house were pieces of 2 alarm clocks. Inspector Roberts is still giving evidence.
Inspector, you have told us that you searched the house where the accused were living and found evidence implicating them in the bombing of the IWS building.
Yes, sir.
Did either of them say anything to you?
Yes, sir. On showing them the search warrant and explaining that I'd received permission to go over the premises, Luckhurst said, "What do you hope to find, Charlie?" Miss Sawyer laughed and said, "If you are after hash, where is your dog?"
And after you found the clockwork pieces, the plimsolls and the letters?
Luckhurst said, "What the hell is all this about? Why can't you leave us alone?" Miss Sawyer said, "Give me those letters, you pig, they are mine." They were taken to the station, cautioned, charged the following day. After being cautioned...
By cautioning, you mean that they were warned that anything that they said might be used in evidence?
Yes, sir. Afterwards, Luckhurst said, "Jill had nothing to do with this. You got nothing on her, let her go." Miss Sawyer said nothing.
Thank you, Inspector.
Inspector, it would appear from your description of the search that you did most of the talking. Sergeant Smithson was the quiet member of the partnership, was he? You made no reference, when you arrived with the search warrant to 68 Brownlow Gardens, to the other inhabitants of the house.
No, sir.
Why not?
The door was opened by Luckhurst. Miss Sawyer was the only other person present.
I think you'll agree it's time we did so. As you well know, Inspector, 68 Brownlow Gardens is what is commonly referred to nowadays as a commune, is it not?
I believe so, sir.
Well, you know so. In the past, members of your division have been called there to settle complaints made by neighbours of excessive noise, have they not?
I don't know what a commune is, sir. That is why I said I believe so.
I'm not about to compile a dictionary, Inspector Roberts, but I would define a commune as a group of people living together who have agreed to pool their resources and who relinquish the idea of private ownership.
That definition sounds worthy of the best dictionary, Mr. Elliot. Perhaps you have missed your vocation.
We shall see, my lord. The fact is, many people have lived at 68 Brownlow Gardens over the past year, have they not, Inspector?
I have no record of the tenant, sir.
Number 68 Brownlow Gardens is owned by the defendant, Trevor Luckhurst. He inherited it last year from an uncle. Following the dictates of his political opinions, he opened the house to like-minded friends. One of the cardinal rules of this house was the abolition of private ownership, even down to personal clothing. Inspector, did the defendants at any time admit to the ownership of the pair of plimsolls?
No, sir. However, they were found under the bed occupied by them, and the plimsolls fitted Luckhurst's feet perfectly.
Did either of them admit ownership of the random pieces of clockwork you uncovered?
No, sir.
Let's be more specific, shall we? Did either of them strongly deny ownership of both the plimsolls and the clockwork pieces?
Yes, sir.
One would not have thought so, listening to your account of their remarks.
I only took statements made immediately after they were confronted and later charged.
My clients insist they denied ownership at this time.
Not to me, sir.
Not even to the silent Smithson?
I beg to repeat, sir, with respect, there were no other people present on these premises at the time we searched them.
Perhaps not, but with respect, there most certainly had been up until the day before you arrived. I shall produce evidence of this, my lord.
But not from the owner of the property, Mr. Luckhurst.
Well, the owner kept no records, my lord. And that leaves us with the letters, the evidence upon which the Crown bases its charge of conspiracy. Exhibit number 5, please. May we turn to the relevant passages? You have the originals, Inspector. I have the copies. Now then, please turn to letter number 1. And would you read off the so-called incriminating passage?
Oh, this is a letter written to Sawyer from Luckhurst, dated January the 2nd.
At this time, Miss Sawyer lived in at St. Hilda's College, Oxford.
Yes, sir.
Read the part which attracted your attention, please.
Read another of those fascist rags put out by the IWS yesterday. They have a simple answer to the state of the nation: close down everything not making a fat profit and chuck a few more million people on the dole. The trouble is, they write this spew often enough, and the fools in Whitehall will start listening. A pity someone doesn't close them down with a bomb.
And would you call that inflammatory stuff, Inspector? A pity someone doesn't close them down with a bomb?
Not in isolation, sir, but connected with the second letter and the other evidence.
Oh, well, let's hear the second letter. Read the paragraph in question, please.
Had a long talk last night about the IWS thing. Something must be done, my love. We just can't make do with waving banners outside the typing pool. Did you hear that idiot in Parliament the other day virtually read out one of the IWS magazines and said, why not? God Almighty, something has to be done to stop them, and soon.
Inflammatory stuff. And you've made no attempt whatsoever to trace the other persons living at the house, have you?
Since the defendant Luckhurst neglected to keep a record of his tenants, sir, such an attempt has not been possible.
Let's move on to the verbal statements. Did either of the defendants try and prevent you or Sergeant Smithson from entering their house?
No, sir.
No, in fact, when you did, Luckhurst is reported to have said, "What do you hope to find, Charlie?" And Miss Sawyer laughed, saying, "If you're looking for hash, where's your dog?"
That's correct, sir.
Inspector, leave your well-documented notebook aside for a moment. Now let me ask you to refer to the considerable experience you've had dealing with criminals.
Yes, sir.
Do the words of either Mr. Luckhurst or Miss Sawyer sound to you those of guilty people with something to hide?
That's difficult to say.
Well, surely not. Both defendants are educated and intelligent. Do you think they'd have been so flippant in their remarks if they knew that upstairs was incriminating evidence? These letters? The clothes they'd worn the night the IWS officers had been blown up? What the hell is all this about? Luckhurst is reported to have said. What indeed?
He also said so, after being charged. Jill had nothing to do with this. You got nothing on her. Let her go. He didn't include himself in this statement of innocence, sir.
And you didn't include, Inspector, your remark to Luckhurst that you would make sure Miss Sawyer got just as much as he did. Is that not so?
I did not say any such thing, sir.
I suggest to you, Inspector Roberts, that for many reasons, not unconnected with the public outcry over this bombing incident, that the police authorities were over hasty in concocting charges against Luckhurst and Sawyer.
No, sir.
That other inquiries that should have been pursued, such as finding the other inhabitants of the house, were ignored in the rush to find a scapegoat. An arrest to satisfy the national demand for action.
No, sir.
Thank you.
Inspector, did you ask Luckhurst for the names and whereabouts of his erstwhile commune friends?
I did.
Did he tell you?
No, sir.
Was there any other means of discovering who or where they were?
No, sir. They were all transients. There were no official registers to which we could refer. They paid no rent, nor were they employed in the area.
So Luckhurst would have been the only person who might have been able to help you?
Yes, sir. He denied ownership of the incriminating articles, but would not say who they did belong to.
What did he say when you asked him?
He told me to go to hell.
Thank you, Inspector. The final prosecution witness, my lord, was on remand in custody with the accused in the same prison, called Stanley Ernest Meredith.
Stanley Ernest Meredith.
Mr. Meredith, would you tell the court what Luckhurst said to you while you were both on remand awaiting trial?
Oh, well, we got chatting about all this bombing, didn't we?
Were you sharing a cell?
No, this was in the exercise period, dinner time and that.
What kind of conversations did you have together?
Well, we was mates. I mean, he used to give me a snap. This bird who came to see him brought it. She got bail. That one.
You talked of the bomb attacks in the news.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know much about it, but Trev used to fill me in on it. Political stuff and things. Who was planting them, the bombs and that.
Did he refer to the bomb placed in the IWS building?
Yeah.
What did he say about it?
He said he put it there.
Did he say why he put it there?
Oh, something about him being fascist or something, saying people ought to be laid off. I didn't get half of it.
But Luckhurst told you he was responsible for placing the bomb which destroyed part of the IWS building.
Yeah. He said he watched it go off.
You and Trev were mates, were you?
Yeah.
For long?
Yeah.
How long?
About 3 months, before I went down.
What is your present address?
Brixton Prison.
So, Trev provided you with cigarettes that Miss Sawyer used to bring to the prison.
Well, he didn't smoke, did he?
But presumably he got Miss Sawyer to bring them for you especially.
Oh, I reckon.
In addition to this, he used to help you understand the news.
Yeah.
And you knew him as Trev.
Yeah.
So here is your mate, Trev, who went to a great deal of trouble to get cigarettes for you, helped you understand what was going on in the world, someone who you spent a great deal of time with when you were out of the cells. And you repay all this friendship by offering to appear as a prosecution witness against him.
Well, my public duty, wasn't it?
You have been convicted, have you not, of shoplifting, petty larceny, assault on the police, housebreaking, and being in possession of an offensive weapon.
Yeah.
On each of these occasions, you pleaded not guilty.
Yeah.
On each of these occasions, you went into the witness box, took the oath, and denied the charges.
Yeah.
On each of these occasions, you were disbelieved by the jury.
Yeah.
In fact, on each of these occasions, you were a wholly untruthful witness. Are you really asking the jury to believe you now? You are giving this false evidence, are you not, in order to earn some remission from your 5-year sentence?
Lord,
I have no questions.
that, my lord, is the case for the prosecution.
Please, my lord. With the assistance of my learned friend, Miss Tate, I will seek to call the evidence for the defence. First, the defendant himself, Mr. Trevor Luckhurst.
What is your religion, please?
CV.
Right, take a book in your right hand and read the
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you.
You are Trevor John Luckhurst. You're 27 years of age and you live at 68 Brownlow Gardens, Fulchester.
Except for the 6 months I've been rotting in prison waiting for them to get round to trying me, yes.
Please answer. Please answer the questions put to you.
I was.
Mr. Luckhurst, you are being examined by your own counsel. I should have thought the least you could do would be to extend to him your cooperation.
Am I right?
Yes.
Your occupation is a freelance journalist.
Yes.
I would like you to cast your mind back to the evening of March 10th of this year.
Right.
And would you tell the court of your activities between 6 and 8 o'clock on the evening of that date?
I was with Jill, Miss Sawyer. We were at a friend's flat from 3 o'clock in the afternoon till about 8:30 at night.
Did you leave the flat at all for any length of time?
No.
Where is this flat?
Bromfield Road.
And how far is that from the IWS building?
About 10 miles.
Could you and Miss Sawyer possibly have been at the IWS premises at 7 o'clock that evening?
No.
Could you possibly have placed the bomb which exploded on those premises?
Impossible.
Have you ever been to the premises of the IWS?
Yes.
Would you tell the court when?
I've been on picket duty there 3 or 4 times.
Please explain what you mean by picket duty.
I'm opposed to the opinions published in the IWS periodical, so-called Common Sense. Me and a few friends have been down there demonstrating.
Mr. Luckhurst, this is important. Have any of these demonstrations ever used violence as a tactic?
No, never.
Have you met the night watchman, Mr. Bell?
Yes, once.
How did that come about?
We were standing outside the main gates once, and he came out waving a stick at us.
What happened?
I tried to talk him out of hitting anyone with it.
Did he hit anyone with it?
No, he was all wind.
You talked him out of it?
Jill did more than I did.
Miss Sawyer was with you at that time?
Yeah.
So the two of you made yourself known to Mr. Bell during that peaceful demonstration?
Yes.
After calming down, what did Mr. Bell do?
After calling me a communist and Jill a slut, he went back inside.
Now, the police have found a pair of plimsolls in your house, embedded with fragments of glass, which a forensic test suggests came from the IWS building after the bomb blast.
So they say.
What does that answer mean?
It means I wasn't there in the forensic lab, was I? Look, they could have planted all sorts of evidence on my things without me knowing.
Did those plimsolls belong to you?
No.
The pieces of alarm clock found in your house, did they belong to you?
No.
They were on your property.
Yeah, I know that.
Then who did they belong to?
No comment.
You know you may be doing yourself great harm in the eyes of the jury by answering no comment.
I'll take that chance.
Did these items belong to Miss Sawyer?
Don't be bloody soft. The plimsolls are size 10.
You're aware, as his lordship's pointed out, you're harming your own case by covering up for these other people.
Maybe.
There's no maybe about it. You're also gravely affecting Miss Sawyer's case.
Don't fall for that one, Trev.
Miss Sawyer, if you cannot remain quiet, I will have you removed from the court.
Referring to the letters produced by the prosecution, the two mentioned were written by you to Miss Sawyer while she was attending Oxford University?
Yeah.
You say in one, pity someone doesn't close them down, that is IWS with a bomb, and in the other, something must be done about them.
Right.
When you wrote these lines, were you actively planning to do something about IWS yourself?
No.
Mr. Luckhurst, were you planning to bomb them?
Of course not.
What were you planning to do?
I'm a journalist. I know the law. I also know the old thing about never writing anything to a woman you don't want read out in court.
I thought that applied to other matters. I repeat, what were you planning to do?
Nothing. Carry on waving banners, I suppose. Pretty futile stuff.
Thank you. Please remain there.
Waving banners is pretty futile, isn't it?
Yes, sometimes.
Futile because it doesn't get any quick or dramatic results.
If you like.
Not nearly so quick or dramatic as using a bomb, for instance.
Very smart.
I do not intend to keep reminding you to answer the questions put to you. Do not embellish them.
And why don't you tell him that?
Your first letter to Miss Sawyer speaks of closing down IWS with a bomb.
So what?
Your second letter talks of something needing to be done.
Yeah.
2 months after the date on that second letter, a bomb does go off at IWS. Clockwork pieces used to make homemade bombs are found in your house. A pair of plimsolls containing splinters of glass from the scene of the crime is also discovered, size 10, your size, and you and Miss Sawyer are both picked out of an identification parade by the night watchman.
You have done your homework, haven't you?
Your explanation of this, as I understand it, is that the clockwork pieces and the plimsolls belong to someone else whom you decline to identify. That in itself is enough to satisfy the conspiracy charge.
My lord, my learned friend is directing the jury as to what they should find.
You say that the letters are not to be taken literally because you intended to continue with your futile course of non-violent opposition.
My lord, I protest.
You will ignore the prosecution's last few words. You know better than that, Mr. Fry.
I beg your pardon, Lord. You were joking when you talked of closing down IWS with a bomb.
No.
You were not joking.
No, I was not joking. At the same time, I didn't mean that I'd do it.
There seems to be some confusion as to the ownership of these plimsolls.
Not to me, there isn't.
There is to me.
And you must be pretty thick.
If I hear any more impertinence from your witness, Mr. Elliot, I will adjourn the court.
Mr. Luckhurst, please answer the question and don't lose your temper.
I didn't ask a question.
I didn't have a chance to, but I shall ask one now. You made a slanderous remark just now about the police planting evidence upon your property in the forensic lab. What do you mean?
Nothing.
You said your things, your plimsolls.
Look, are you deaf? I told you they're not mine!
But you said when your counsel was questioning you about the splinters of glass embedded in the plimsolls, they could have planted all sorts of evidence on my things without me knowing. Do you still say they don't belong to you?
They don't belong to me.
Oh, you've changed your mind as to their ownership.
Look, all right, you can make anyone look an idiot in court. You've had the practice. You know what I mean? Everyone else does. I meant they could have planted things in my property if they wanted to. It's anyone's property. I didn't mean to say those plimsolls are mine. They're not. I'm not going to tell you whose they are because I know they didn't do it either. All right, you want to do someone, do me. I don't care. It's all a bloody frame-up anyway. Go ahead and set me down. But I tell you what, from now on, I refuse to recognise the jurisdiction of this kangaroo court any longer. You can all go and get stuffed.
Well, do you intend to answer any further questions? You do not?
Mr. Luckhurst, think again.
Mr. Fry, if you have any more questions, put them to him.
Who do the plimsolls belong to, if they do not belong to you? They're your plimsolls, aren't they, Mr. Luckhurst? And you were wearing them on the night of March the 10th.
Mr. Luckhurst, this is your last opportunity to answer those questions. If you do not, I shall enter in my note that you refuse to answer them. Very well.
This court is a farce. It's a put-up job from start
Jill.
to finish. What do you want us to say, that we're guilty? All right, we are. We planted that bomb. We watched it go off. We do it again. We do it again tomorrow. Is that what you want?
The case of the Queen versus Luckhurst and Sawyer continues tomorrow in the Crown Court. At the end of the first day of the bomb trial in Fulchester Crown Court, there were excited scenes as both defendants, Trevor Luckhurst and Jill Sawyer, refused to continue to recognise the jurisdiction of the court. Luckhurst had just been pressed by the prosecution, led by Mr. Fry, QC, as to the ownership of a pair of plimsolls. These plimsolls bore splinters of glass, which tests showed to have come from the building, wrecked by a bomb which the Crown claims to have been placed by the accused. The judge, Mr. Justice Waddington, adjourned the proceedings, but now the court has reassembled.
Do I understand, Mr. Elliot, that the court is not required to take seriously Miss Sawyer's admission of guilt during yesterday's regrettable outburst?
Most obliged, my lord. Members of the jury, I do not now propose to call Miss Sawyer due to her nervous condition. I wish to call the first of two alibi witnesses, Mr. Peter Thornhill, please.
I take it that the prosecution were served with proper alibi notices.
Yes, my lord.
I'm an atheist.
Oh, will you affirm the oath then, please?
I do solemnly, sincerely, and truly declare and affirm that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Peter Thornhill?
Right.
You live at flat 598 Bromfield Road, Fulchester.
Right.
What is your occupation?
Commercial artist.
Now, would you think back to March the 10th this year?
Yeah.
Can you recall your movements on that day?
Yeah.
It was some time ago.
I keep a diary.
Do you write this diary every day?
Yeah.
Do you have an entry for March the 10th describing your activities?
Right.
Do you have the diary with you now? Would you read out to us the entry for March the 10th, please?
Trevor and Jill coming over this afternoon. Brian Parker calling in to pick up folio.
Did Mr. Luckhurst and Miss Sawyer arrive?
Yeah.
And how long did they stay?
I left about 8:30.
What were you doing during this time?
Well, this other cat, you know, Brian, he hung around for an hour or so, and he came back later, and the rest of the time we just sat around.
Did either Trevor or Jill leave the flat for any length of time?
No.
Are you sure?
Why should they want to? I live in the outskirts of town, middle of suburbia. The only time people in my neighbourhood go out is on a Sunday to wash their cars. None of us has a car.
Were you with Mr. Luckhurst and Miss Sawyer throughout the period of time from 3 o'clock until about 8:30 on March the 10th this year at your flat in Bromfield Road?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Thornhill?
That's me.
You sat around all day with the defendants?
Right.
Doing what?
Nothing much.
Smoking pot?
Lord, this is unwarranted and irrelevant.
In my submission it is not, my lord. I see the witness has twice been prosecuted for possession of cannabis. Now, if, say, Mr. Thornhill went fast asleep, it's quite possible that Luckhurst and Miss Sawyer could have left his flat, planted the bomb, returned without him being aware.
Look, we sat around, we played some records, we drank some wine, OK?
March 10th was a Friday. Now, you say you have a job. When do you perform it?
When I feel like it.
How nice feel.
It is.
So, on the day in question, a weekday, you just lazed around, drinking and playing records?
Right.
I wish I could afford such luxuries.
I bet you do.
Silence.
Did anyone else besides this other person, Brian, see you all lying around for 5 hours?
Well, if they did, I didn't see them.
What kind of answer's that?
A truthful one.
Implying the others were not?
You're going to have to do better than that.
And that will do. Oh, he does have a point, Mr. Lotterby.
For someone with such an erratic way of life, isn't it strange to keep such a precise diary?
Is it?
Could you not have made the event, the The entry for March the 10th, after the event, say a month after.
Why is it you question my diary, but you accept police notebooks like Holy Writ?
I won't warn you again. You must answer the question.
No more questions.
Brian Parker, please.
Brian Parker.
What is your religion, please?
CV.
Will you take the book in the right hand and swear the oath?
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Cool.
You are Brian Parker, you live at 3 Park Hill, Fulchester, and you're a director of the Faber Shoe Company.
Yes.
Now, on March the 10th this year, did you have occasion to go to a flat situated in Bromfield Road?
Yes.
Will you explain to us why?
Mr. Thornfield, the tenant of the flat, had some folios to show me. I was considering him to design an advertising poster for my firm. I said I would call back to inspect the folio of his previous work.
And what time did you get there?
4 o'clock.
Was anyone else in the flat?
Yes.
Who?
Those two, Trevor Luckhurst and Jill.
Now, how long did you stay on this first visit?
Half an hour.
And did you return later?
Yes.
Why?
To return the folio, I'd shown it to my managing director, who was agreeable to employing Mr. Thornhill.
What time was your second visit?
6:30.
And was there anyone present beside Mr. Thornhill?
Oh, Trevor and Jill were still there.
What were they doing?
I thought they were pretty stoned. Drunk, my lord.
How long did you stay this time?
The second time, about half an hour.
So you left about 7.
Yes.
Were Mr. Luckhurst and Miss Sawyer still there when you left?
Yes. Jill actually was asleep.
Thank you.
Mr. Parker, were the defendants known to you before you visited Mr. Thornhill?
No, sir.
You see, I notice you call them Trevor and Jill.
Well, not when I first met them.
Oh, I see you've become friendly since.
No. I will call them Mr. Luckhurst and Miss Sawyer, if you like. It's just a bit of a mouthful, that's all.
Mr. Parker, you appear very certain of the times you arrived and left Mr. Thornhill's flat.
Yes.
I appreciate you're a busy man during the week, unlike the person you went to visit, and like to keep track of time. But this time, couldn't you be a bit mistaken?
I don't think so.
Think?
I am not mistaken.
On your second visit, for instance,
Yes.
you say you arrived at 6:30, not about 6:30. It all sounds very precise.
Well, I leave work every day at 6. It takes me 10 minutes to collect my car and 20 to drive in the rush hour to Bromfield Road. I pass it most days. It was exactly 6:30 when I got there.
The last witness for the defence is a character witness, my lord. I wish to call Mrs. Sawyer, the mother of Jill Sawyer.
Elizabeth Sawyer.
What is your religion, please?
Church of England.
Right. Will you take the book in your right hand and read the oath?
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
You are Mrs. Elizabeth Sawyer, mother of Jill Sawyer, and you reside at the Cedars, Fairford.
Yes.
Do sit down if you wish, Mrs. Sawyer.
Thank you, my lord. I'll be all right.
Mrs. Sawyer, I don't propose to keep you very long. I would just like you to tell the court a few details concerning Jill. You're willing to do that?
Yes.
Now, your daughter won a scholarship to St. Hilda's College, Oxford, I understand.
Yes.
What subject did she read?
English.
And what were her last few school reports like?
Well, they said she was a brilliant pupil with a fine analytical mind.
Anything about her background?
One remark was that she ought to try and overcome a certain shyness. Jill always had trouble communicating with people, particularly strangers.
In what way, Mrs. Sawyer?
How do you mean?
Was she aggressive towards them? Hostile?
Oh, no. No, on the contrary, she was, well, a little timid, if anything.
As her mother?
She takes things to heart.
As her mother, what would you say this was due to?
Well, Jill's a sensitive girl, and she feels things like that very much.
What kind of things?
Well, if anyone speaks sharply to her, or if they're unkind in any way.
Has Jill ever expressed any political views to you, Mrs. Sawyer?
No, not really. Not until this dreadful business happened. I had no idea. I simply wasn't the least bit aware of what she'd been doing, and then suddenly, one day last February, she telephoned me to say she'd decided to leave Oxford. Just like that. I begged her to come home so we could talk about it.
With you and your husband?
My husband's been working abroad for the past year. We hardly see him at all.
I see. Please, do go on.
But, she wouldn't.
She wouldn't? She wouldn't come home?
I knew she had a man friend, although she never talked about him. Not much, anyway. She said she thought she was wasting her time at Oxford, that it all seemed so trivial, and that she'd already told them she wanted to leave. I was horrified. All that work. I heard nothing from her for 2 weeks. Then she said she was living in Fulchester, that she was happy, involved in some interesting work, and told me not to worry. And then she was arrested over this dreadful bomb business. She was allowed bail and came home in my charge. And I learned then that she'd been involved in a protest group against the company, but Jill always loathed violence. I remember when she used to be physically sick if she even saw anything brutal. She hasn't changed. Oh, I know people will say she has, and what does any mother know about her children these days? Perhaps it simply proves how far apart parents and children are today. Of course, she has changed in some ways. In her view, she's grown up. All I do know is she just could not have agreed to blow up that place. And even less could she have taken part in putting the bomb in the building. No one could persuade her to do such a terrible thing. No one.
Thank you, Mrs. Sawyer.
And I have no questions.
Thank you, Mrs. Sawyer. I'm aware what an ordeal it must have been for you to come here and submit to the pressures of this court.
Thank you.
That concludes the case for the defendants, my lord.
May it please your lordship, members of the jury, in summing up the case for the prosecution, I would refer you to the two cardinal pieces of evidence relating to the charges which the defendants face, and in support of the allegation that they both took part in causing the explosion at IWS, that is, that they were present at the scene and placed the bomb in position. You've heard the evidence of the night watchman, Mr. Bell. He has stated unequivocally that he saw both Luckhurst and Sawyer on the scene shortly after the explosion. He is, I'm sure you will agree, an experienced and reliable man who has been placed in a position of considerable trust and who on this occasion carried out his duties with commendable courage. Contradicting his evidence, you have heard two alibi witnesses, one of them a friend of the accused, the other a young man who appeared quickly to form a friendly relationship with them. Members of the jury, you will decide for yourselves which of these two accounts you prefer to believe. Much has been made by my learned friend of the non-violent intentions of the accused, especially Sawyer. He's been at pains to persuade us that it was not in their nature to handle bombs. But I would suggest to you that a person who abhors violence against human beings might well feel very differently where violence to buildings is concerned. You will recall the words of the forensic expert when he said that homemade bombs often malfunction, often go off before they're meant to. And you may well feel that in this case, though this bomb was meant to explode in the small hours when it would do no harm to a living soul, it did indeed malfunction and went off while those who were placing it were still in its vicinity. Now, turning to the other charge, that of conspiring to cause the explosion at IWS, I submit that the prosecution has proved that both Luckhurst and Sawyer possessed a hatred for the company which urged them to perform an act of violence against it. Their letters spelt it out. Something must be done. Someone ought to close them down with a bomb. The police discovered in Luckhurst's house a pair of plimsolls bearing splinters of glass from the scene of the crime. Denying ownership, Luckhurst has repeatedly refused to admit who did own these alleged plimsolls. Information, members of the jury, which you will recall he admits possessing. Sawyer cohabited in the house with Luckhurst where these alleged other people lived. In our view, these facts constitute a clear case of conspiracy to cause the explosion which eventually did take place.
My Lord, members of the jury, you've heard from two reputable witnesses who state that from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. on the 10th of March, Trevor Luckhurst and Jill Sawyer were visiting flat number 5 at 98 Bromfield Road, Fulchester. One of the witnesses, a direct young businessman, has further stated that at 7 o'clock, Jill Sawyer was asleep. The prosecution witness, Mr. Bell, has maintained that he saw the defendants running from the scene of the explosion at 7 o'clock. I do not wish to impugn the integrity of Mr. Bell when I suggest he was mistaken. Bear in mind one fact. Mr. Bell had met both the defendants previously during a peaceful demonstration. Now, the darkened precincts of the building were still choked with dust and smoke when Mr. Bell ran out, dazed and uncertain if he were wearing his spectacles. In the midst of this chaos, he saw two running figures approximately 20 yards away disappear over a wall. My learned friend has advised you to choose the account you prefer. Members of the jury, there can be no preference here, only a decision based on the facts. On the question of conspiracy, the defendant has admitted writing 2 letters with so-called inflammatory statements. Now I ask you, were these letters written to a group of anarchists? No. A pity someone doesn't close them down with a bomb. It's a foolish statement. And written, perhaps, to impress a passionate and sensitive young girl. As to the question of the plimsolls, and there is a question, the forensic expert, Dr. Gold, has stated that there is no conclusive proof that the glass found embedded in the plimsolls is the same as that found at the IWS building after the bomb blast. Trevor Luckhurst has denied ownership of the plimsolls. He declines to name the real owner. Now, you may well argue that for a person facing a serious charge, to remain constant to a personal code of honor is foolhardy. But I put it to you that Trevor Luckhurst is guilty of nothing more than perhaps misguided honor. This is a point you will no doubt seriously wish to ponder before reaching your verdict on these two headstrong, but we submit non-violent young people.
Thank you, Mr. Elliot. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have heard the evidence from both the prosecution and from the defense, and shortly you will be asked to retire and consider your verdict. You are the sole judge of the facts in this case. I am here to advise and direct you on matters of law. If, during these proceedings, you consider that I have formed an opinion as to the guilt or innocence of the defendants, you must treat my views as you see fit. The law states simply this: it is the Crown that must prove its case, not the defense. Now, on the first charge, the defendants are accused of conspiring with persons unknown to cause an explosion. When you come to weigh this evidence on this charge, you should be completely sure of what, in legal terms, a conspiracy means. A conspiracy is an agreement between two or more persons to commit a crime, in this case, to cause an explosion. If you consider the evidence is sufficient to show that an agreement did take place between the two defendants and other persons, not before this court, then you should return a verdict of guilty. If there is any doubt as to this agreement, then they are to be judged not guilty. On the second charge of causing an explosion, you have heard evidence put forward by two alibi witnesses acting on behalf of the defendants. When you come to decide whether to accept their testimony or not, you should remember that it is up to the prosecution to disprove an alibi. It is not necessary for the defense to prove it. If, therefore, you accept this alibi evidence, you may feel that there is no other course open to you than to find the defendants not guilty on the second charge. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you are the sole judge. Now, you will retire and consider your verdict.
All rise. Members of the jury, will your foreman please rise? Members of the jury, will you answer this question, yes or no? On the first count in the indictment, charging the defendants with conspiring with persons unknown to cause an explosion, have you reached a verdict upon which you are all agreed in respect of both defendants?
We have.
Do you find Trevor John Luckhurst guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Do you find Jill Alexandra Sawyer guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Members of the jury, will you answer this question, yes or no? On the second count in this indictment, charging the defendants with causing an explosion, have you reached a verdict upon which you are all agreed in respect of both defendants?
We have.
Do you find Trevor John Luckhurst guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Do you find Jill Alexandra Sawyer guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Trevor John Luckhurst and Jill Alexandra Sawyer, you have been found not guilty of both charges. In my opinion, you are an extremely fortunate young couple. You may now leave the box and are free to go.
Next week, another chance for you to join the jury in assessing the facts when our cameras return to watch another leading case in the Crown Court.